Hey everyone, Christopher Ruocchio here of Sun Eater, back with another monthly update video for you. This for the month of August 2024. I'm coming to you a little bit later in the month this time. For those of you who follow me over on Patreon, you'll know that I've been sick for the last week. I'm happy to report feeling more or less back to myself. And a good thing too, because there's a lot going on this month that I want to talk about, not least of which is the fact that Howling Dark and Demon in White are officially back in print in hardcover. If you are one of those people who has been looking for Book 2 and Book 3 to fill out your collection, I am very, very happy to report that you can go grab it right now. The books are available on Amazon. You'll notice they're not available for Prime shipping just yet. That's because the books are in the publisher's warehouse, but they have not quite reached Amazon's warehouse yet. Rest assured, it's only because we're early in the process. Those books are not like second hand or anything like that. Third party dealers, and so it'll all be fine. Just give it a couple weeks to sort of iron out. But you can order the books today if you are so inclined. I'm happy to report as well that the folks up at Doll Books actually redesigned the spines on books 2 and 3 and will be redesigning the spines on the subsequent editions in order to better match the spines across the entire series. Because if you've ever seen the first editions, they actually don't quite line up in a lot of little ways. And I know, because I'm one of you, that the book collector in you balks at that reality. So we went and we got things sort of straightened out. If you need your bookshelves to be pixel perfect, they can be now. And so if you want to go grab a new copy, they are out there. If you want also to grab a signed copy of those books, you can at quailridgebooks.com. They might not have stock yet for another couple of days, but if you keep checking back, they will have the books very, very soon, they told me. And you'll be able to order a signed copy from quailridgebooks.com. The link is always in the description down below there. My local independent bookseller. I've been working with them for years now. A wonderful store. And if you want to get a signed copy, all you need to do is fill out the comments section during checkout on their website. Say, hey, I would love for Christopher to sign my book, and I will come in and sign the book. You just have to wait a little while for me to get into the store so I can sign all the books they're holding for me to sign. But if you don't mind waiting a little while, usually not more than a week or so, I can get in there and take care of the books, and they will mail them out to you, and you can have a signed copy of the Sun Eater books for your collection, and in hardcover now for the first time in a very, very, very long time. They will probably be reprinting books 4 and 5, but not until next year. Book 5 is still in print in hardcover, so you can grab a first edition if you really want. And they will be reprinting Disquiet Gods in hardcover as well down the road once the Bane first edition sells out. Of course, we've changed publishers here, and so there's a little bit of weirdness that's going to take a few months to sort of iron out as things change over. But eventually you will be able to get a perfectly matching set of the Sun Eater books all in hardcover. But that begins here with books 1, 2, and 3. And a big thank you to all of you who already picked up that book 1 reprint. These book 2 and 3 reprints would not have been possible without you. Daw is thrilled with how things have gone with that book, and it is really all down to each and every one of you. So big thank you for me. Now to the question that everybody really comes to these videos for the answer to, and that is, of course, how is Book 7 going? And the answer is slowly but surely. As I mentioned at the top of the video, but not feeling my best in the last week, and so I have not made as much progress in the last month as I would have liked. That being said, I have completed 45 of presently 80 chapters in Book 7, so we are past the halfway point. We are on our way to the end for real now. We are on the downslope, at least as far as word count is concerned. We're also not just past the 50% mark, but past the 200,000 word mark as well, which means that Book 7 is already longer than Ashes of Man, it is already longer than Kingdoms of Death, and by the time I send my next update video out on this channel, it will be longer than Empire of Silence, and it may very well be longer than Howling Dark. This is very, very likely going to be the longest book in the entire series. The only real question is by how much. And I won't know that until, of course, the first draft is done. But I won't know that really until revisions are done, because one of my goals in revising is going to be to cut length as much as possible. Same sort of thing we did with Disquiet Gods, where Dave Butler and I got something like 50,000 words out of the book without sacrificing a single scene. We'll probably do that. Again. I think Disquiet Gods is stronger for it. and certainly is easier on the printing press. So we'll be repeating that again for sure. As far as completion dates are concerned, my goal is still to finish the draft one manuscript by the end of this year. That's still looking very, very possible. There's a small chance, depending on how complicated this final act gets, that it might go a little bit into next year. But in any case, we're sort of targeting a late 2025 release date for that. Don't have a release date yet. Don't even have a month yet. But we're targeting fall 2025. That is the mission, and assuming I can deliver a completed manuscript by the end of this year, that should be a very doable mission. There'll be some things I can work on after I turn that in. I don't have to translate all the CLs, and I can do that in the editing phase. So I am working on making sure that I get Hadrian over the finish line by the end of the year, so that you all can read it next year. That is the goal, and that, of course, is my only writing project at the moment. I am not juggling other projects. I got all the short stories I needed to write out of the way. I got all the introductions I needed to write out of the way for special editions and things of that nature. So the only thing new writing-wise that I am working on is Book 7, and that will remain the case until Book 7 is done. After that, well, we'll have to wait and see. But that is not to say that I am not working on other things. There's a lot of other stuff going on at the moment. The first of which is the remastered edition of Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 2. My work on Tales of the Sun Eater 2 is done. The manuscript is edited. It got cleaned up, copy edited. Continuity errors were sort of ironed out, things like that. That's all done. The cover is finished. The cover is styled. All those files are in the hands of the typesetter, who are expected to deliver it to me in the next week or so. As soon as it gets here, it will go up. There's not going to be a pre-order period. This is an old book. You should really think of it as just sort of a systems update. It's going to just replace the file that's already there. So if you already own Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 2, the new edition is just going to replace the old one. No problem. All we really do is clean up some typos and some glitches and put a new cover on it. I don't see a reason to charge you for that again. I just want you to have the best version of that book you can. That being said, if you have not checked out those Tales of the Sun Eater ebook collections, this may be a great time to do that, because we are also working on getting Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 4 into production and out by the end of the year, all other things being equal. Tales of the Sun Eater 4 is written. It is copy edited. I need to review those copy edits and input them into the final manuscript, and then I need to send the final manuscript and the cover to the typesetter. As soon as Tales 2 is done, I will think about starting on that, because I don't want to have two things at the typesetter at one time. I'll stagger them out. But I need to review those copy edits, and I need to finalize the cover, put the typeface on it, and all of that. But I have the finished art. James Cook did the finished art for that, and I can't wait to show both of those Tales covers to you, because, of course, the new Valka cover for Tales 2 is amazing, and the character on Tales 4, I think, is a character you will all be very, very excited to see. So I can't wait for you all to see those. Tales 4, you could probably expect around the end of the year. It won't come out until Anderida Books has released their edition of The Murdered Son, because there is a story in that book that needs to come out there first before it can come out in a Tales collection. But stay tuned. So as soon as I know the release date of Murdered Son, Tales 4 will go up for pre-order, and you all will be able to look forward to that. It will certainly be here before Book 7, so there will be new Sun Eater material to read between now and the release of Book 7. And with any luck, there'll be a new novella as well next year after I finish Book 7. There should be time for me to write a whole novella and get it published before Book 7 gets to you, but that's a next year problem. I'm not thinking about that so much right now. But of course, we're also working on special editions, and there are 3 in production at the moment. Of course, there are the Diamond editions. Happy to report that the Diamond edition of Empire of Silence is mostly reprinted. All of the pages are reprinted. They are in assembly now, so they got to put the covers on the books. They got to put the boards together and the cases and all of that. And they are supposed to be sending that to me the week of September 9th, so the week right after I get back from Texas. More on Texas in a second. But they will send them to me the week of September 9th, and I will start shipping them out immediately. Currently working already on the art and the edits for the Howling Dark edition of, for the Diamond edition of Howling Dark. Those will probably go on sale in October or so after everybody gets their copies of Empire of Silence. But James Cook is already working on art for Howling Dark. He's finished the cover. He's finished the cover for a few weeks now, and he's working on interior illustrations, color illustrations. And of course, John Barry Ballaran is working on the black and white illustrations for those editions. The Diamond editions have more art in them than the Broken Binding and the Andorita Books editions of them by a somewhat large margin. Steve and I really wanted to focus on art for these special editions, and there's just a lot of art that goes into these books. So we're trying to get as much of a head start on those as possible so that we can get Howling Dark to the printer before the end of the year, try to make up for some lost time, because we lost a lot of time getting Empire of Silence out to you all, and we do not want that to keep happening, let's say. So that is where we are with Diamond editions. With regard to Andorita Books editions, they are reprinting The Lesser Devil and Other Stories, Queen of Ashes and Other Stories, and The Dregs of Empire and Other Stories. Those should be out very, very soon. And then after that, their next project is The Murdered Sun, which is sort of the original rough draft version of Empire of Silence. I believe the goal is still to have that out by the end of the year, but that's starting to look a little bit rough. We'll see. Kieran Yanner is, of course, very busy. He does a lot of art for Wizards of the Coast. And so Kieran has been trying to get art done for that and for the Andorita edition of Empire of Silence as well, in between his other obligations. But we're making progress there. Hopefully there'll be more information on those very, very soon. The covers for both Murdered Sun and the Andorita edition of Empire of Silence are both done, and I cannot wait to show those to you guys. They are so cool. The cover, particularly for Empire of Silence, is my favorite cover that Kieran Yanner has done for me yet. It is so cool, and I cannot wait to see the later books get the Andorita Books treatment. I think those covers are really gonna blow you all away. We'll see them very, very soon. But then the third special edition is, of course, Broken Binding. Those are coming out very soon. They have done Empire of Silence, Howling Dark, and Demon in White, and then they've been showing off art every Friday for the last couple months now. Those should go on sale for pre-order very, very soon. I believe, I want to say September, but they haven't committed to that yet. We've kicked September around a little bit. There'll be more information on that soon. But my work on those is done. They are at the printer now. And then we'll do books 4 through 6 next year is the plan. But there are two more things I want to talk about before I wrap up this update video. The first of which is Texas, because I am going on tour next month. I will be in Texas from September 2nd through to September 8th. I will be visiting the Dallas area, and then I'll be driving down to Houston and to Austin. And we're still looking to put a couple of events on the calendar, but here is what we have so far. Starting on Labor Day, which is September 2nd, I will be in Dallas, in Southlake, really, at the Barnes & Noble in Southlake at 7 p.m. with Ryan Cahill, and together Ryan and I will be doing an event together. We'll be signing books together, talking about science fiction and fantasy together. It'll be a great time. You can come to that event. There is a link to it in the description down below. I think they want you to call the store to RSVP. I think they already have something like 100 people signed up. So if you want to come, please do call and let them know so they know how much space to make. They said it's a big store, but it sounds like we might be pushing it. Would love to see you all out there. The next day in Arlington, Ryan and I will be together at Theater Arlington for his big signing. This one is sold out, but for the interest of completeness, I will mention we'll be at Theater Arlington on September 3rd. Ryan and I, and we'll be doing the same thing, talking about books, signing books, and meeting you all. And it'll be a great time. Really looking forward to both of those events. But then after that, I will be driving down to Houston, and on Thursday, which I think is September 5th. I'm really bad at counting in real time, keeping dates straight. But on September 5th, Thursday, I will be at the Woodlands Barnes & Noble, just sort of north of Houston, just by myself doing a signing. And I've got a link to that event down in the description down below as well. If you're in the Houston area, I would love to see you. Come on out, and I will sign your books and we'll talk. I believe they have about 30 seats. It's a smaller store, so they've got some sort of reservation system. I think you've got to call in to them as well and just say, hey, you want to be there. If you can't get a seat for whatever reason, they said they can accommodate more people for signing. They just don't have enough chair space, basically. So you can still totally come. You can even walk in, but you might not have a chair, basically, is all. So I will be there, and I'll be signing books as long as there are people who want me to sign them. So if you can't make the Q&A sit-down part, happy to take questions in the signing line and talk to you. So don't worry about it. Would love to see if you want to come on out. And then I will be driving to Austin. I will be in Austin Friday, Saturday, Sunday that week, the 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm trying to set up a signing in Austin. Don't have one just yet. As soon as I do, I will let you all know about it. But I will be at ArmadilloCon, which is a local science fiction convention. I will be there Saturday and Sunday, basically all day. I don't know what my schedule for that convention is just yet as far as panels go. I don't think they finalized it yet. I'm sure I'll hear about it as soon as they have. But I will be there all weekend if you want to come see me. Should be a great show. If you've never been to like a book-focused science fiction convention, it's very different than going to like Comic-Con, right? If you're in the area, would love to see you there, and I'm sure they would too. It's looking to be a great show. So that is the Texas tour, and the last thing that I wanted to mention is that we sort of redid the Patreon. Now, I don't talk about the Patreon very much because I don't want to be that guy, but I felt like I wasn't giving everybody enough value, so we went and we rebuilt a bunch of the tiers around a sort of trading card, not quite game, there's no game mechanic, but there is a collecting mechanic, and there's a trading mechanic, so it's game-like, let's say. We're making Sun Eater trading cards, basically. They've got new art on them by James Cook. He's done a Hadrian card, a Valka card, and a third character that you'll have to see if you get that card in the mail. And we basically are creating this whole system around these cards. The cards have QR codes on the back that link to secret lore pages that you have to have the card or someone to give you the link in order to read them. I think that'll be great fun. And there'll be voting and things on new cards later down the line. And so if you want to get in on that, you want to get some really cool Sun Eater art and to sponsor future art, that is what the Patreon is now for. It is an art machine, and you all get cards out of it. So if you want to check that out, a link to the Patreon is always down in the description below. I like that it's there, but I try not to push it too hard. I will be mentioning it a little bit more going forward since we're doing more with it. Very excited about these cards, but I will pretty much just be mentioning when there's a new like big art related thing going on. But we do weekly writing reports over there. If you really want to see down to the numbers of what I'm doing and how much I've been accomplishing, you can get those. And there's some other stuff over there as well. You can get early looks at chapters and things. There will be chapters of Book 7 showing up on the Patreon, not in the next couple of months, but fairly soon. So if that's something that interests you, definitely check it out. But that about does it. There's a lot going on in this update. Hope you all kept up with it just fine. And I will see you all very soon. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, farewell.